Hi everybody, welcome to A Pop of Culture. I am your host, the Esoteric and Facetious, and this is A Pop of Culture, my video essay podcast where I speak on pop culture, social justice, and the human experience from a black, bisexual, millennial perspective. Everything, and I mean everything I say should be taken with a grain of salt, as I'm simply a college student with access to a recording device and the internet. With that being said, my youth shouldn't be your sole reason to critique my views, unless it's truly relevant. If you disagree, let's have a civil conversation in the comments below. Before I get into the topic of this video, definitely feel free to check out my cover channel, where I do throwback R&B, contemporary R&B, whatever I'm feeling, whatever you're feeling. Singing is one of my passions, so definitely feel free to check out some of my covers and parodies. I think there's some good stuff over there. With that being said, this is our second installment of Problematic Tweet of the Day. I should have known going on Twitter that there was going to be some controversy. I literally can't use Twitter for like 5 minutes without rolling my eyes all the way to the back of my head. So let's get into it. Let's get into this tweet. So I'm going to provide some context. So I follow Manny on Twitter because I watch his YouTube videos. I enjoy his content. So I see a tweet from Manny. And, Manny has kept himself out of controversy for a while, for a long periodically time. From what I know, this video is being recorded on August 6th of 2020. So, he'd been in some drama, but for the most part, he's been out of drama. So I see that, he's made some public statement, like one of those, iPhone note apologies. So I'm like looking at it in my tweets, and then it says in regards to my tweets yesterday. So he writes a very long message, and basically what he was writing about was he, as a person who owns a cosmetic line, was annoyed at the fact that it appeared to him that Alicia Keys had been dropping a makeup line, and Alicia Keys is someone who's not worn makeup for 5 years, give or take. So he personally felt a way about that because there are a lot of celebrities out there who are releasing these makeup brands, not because they care about makeup. And we could get into that too, because some of these big makeup brands are not necessarily created as passion projects for people who love makeup, but because makeup is a profitable industry to invest into. But anyways, Manny MUA felt some type of way because he felt like Alicia Keys was just another celebrity who was cashing in on the beauty brand trend. And this is something that we've seen before, especially with people like Kesha. I actually looked into it because I remembered that Manny had filmed a video with Kesha, and in that video he was advertising her brand while also teaching her how to apply things, like how to apply eyeshadow, how to apply blush. So my thing is, I do enjoy some of Manny's content, but I do think it's kind of hypocritical for him to have taught Kesha how to apply her own makeup, but to have kind of come for Alicia Keys. But I will say, the second that he found out that Alicia Keys was doing more of a skincare line than a cosmetic line, like with makeup products, he was quick to apologize for, making his statement. Now, here's how I feel about it. Like I said, I do feel like Manny did come off to me as a little bit hypocritical since he did a video with Kesha. So I feel like if he was so morally opposed to celebrities doing makeup brands who don't care about it, then I feel like maybe he shouldn't have filmed that video, or maybe he should take that video down. But I do get the fact that people who run their own makeup lines, who feel really passionate about it, do feel a way about other people who are just kind of cashing in on it. Because I feel like when you invest so much of your time and energy into something you really care about, and somebody else is just kind of doing it to get extra money, I don't think that person who's doing it to get extra money is bad, but I just feel like that's not the same experience. There's a difference from going to someone who wears lashes every day, who has a lash line, because that you're going to get something quality, you're going to get something that is going to look good, rather than somebody who just started a lash line or a lip gloss. And that's no shade to someone who has a lash line or a lip gloss line, but my thing is, if you don't even wear lip gloss like that, and you're not really representing yourself or being that brand owner that somebody can trust. But that's not what we came here to talk about. What we came here to talk about is this tweet that I saw that, like I said, made me roll my eyes to the back of my head. What time is it? Problematic tweet time. Let's read this tweet. Hey, James Charles. Alicia Keys has been making a name for herself since age 12. Signed at age 15. Is an activist, is a multi-award winner. A literal beam of light. She doesn't need your petty a opinion. Just admit that you don't like black or POC artists getting more attention than you. Okay, so, and this was a response to James Charles' tweet, people who do not wear makeup should not be coming out with makeup brands, but that's just my opinion. So let's, you know, breathe in, breathe out. We are about to go in. So, of course, this was a response to James's tweet, people who do not wear makeup should not be coming out with makeup brands, but that's just my opinion. How do I feel about James's tweet? Like Manny's tweet, I feel like they should have did more research before subtweeting Alicia Keys. But at the same time, I also feel like a lot of people are going to go hard at the paint for Alicia Keys just because she's black. Now, disclaimer time. It's disclaimer time. Alicia Keys is a legend. She is somebody who has done it in the music industry for years. She's somebody who has the records, has the record sales, has the accolades. So this is no shade to Alicia Keys. But my thing is, certain things do come off as money grabs. I don't care who you are. Certain collaborations do make sense and certain collaborations don't make sense. For example, if Jackie Aina did a ketchup company, nothing's stopping her from doing a ketchup company, but that does not make sense in the way that her releasing a makeup brand does. And of course, things are investments, so, you know, some investments may not necessarily be directly correlated with your brand if you just know that they're going to be profitable. But I guess the issue I have is a lot of people, just because Alicia Keys is black and they like Alicia Keys music, Alicia Keys can do no wrong. Now, of course, I think the problem is Manny and James jumped to conclusions when it came to Alicia Keys' brand. But I do think with the presupposition that they had, that Alicia Keys literally hasn't worn makeup in 5 years, and she has a makeup brand, that does sound ridiculous. And I think that we need to call celebrities out. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to form an additional stream of income, but especially if you have a following and people are going to buy it. But I also feel like I said, brands should somewhat, in collaboration, should somewhat make sense. Like, I'm pretty sure Morphe did a collaboration with Coca-Cola, and it's like, why? So I'm very annoyed at the fact that a lot of people, it seems like a lot of people are going to try to act like James is attacking Alicia Keys because she's a black woman or she's successful. And I don't think that's the case. So here's the issue I have. Pretty much the problem that I have with this tweet is that this person is saying, okay, Alicia Keys has done all this blah, 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 blah. Like I said, she is someone who is very successful in music. She's somebody who has been one of the most prolific artists of the 2000s when it's come to R&B music. So I really do have a lot of respect for Alicia Keys. But the issue I have is, it doesn't matter how many Grammys Alicia Keys has. Like, it doesn't matter how many records she sold in this context, because it has nothing to do with the fact that under this presupposition, Alicia Keys is making a makeup brand when she hasn't worn makeup in 5 years. As I said, it has been clarified that it's a skincare line, but it seems like both of these tweets are coming with the presupposition that Alicia Keys was making a makeup brand as someone who doesn't wear makeup, which doesn't make sense, because if she's not for makeup, why would she be selling it, you know? So I guess the issue I have is this person is trying to make this false argument. James said nothing about her as an artist, her as a musician, all he was saying was that people who don't wear makeup, in his opinion, shouldn't wear makeup, shouldn't be making makeup brands, which I don't think is a controversial opinion. But of course, we see, and if you haven't seen my last video, if you haven't seen it's a few videos back now because I'm pre-recording stuff, but basically in one of my videos I talk about Camp A, Camp B, Camp C. Camp A is people who are ambivalent to an influencer who may, if they do something that really something they like, or a video that they are interested in, they'll watch them. Camp B is people who have justifiable reasons to dislike an influencer. And Camp C is people who have unjustifiable reasons to dislike an influencer. So it's petty reasons, or just, where maybe, you feel a little jealous, or you feel a type of way about them, and you feel they don't deserve their success, which is subjective, because who are you to say that someone does or doesn't deserve their success? But anyways, the issue this to me comes off as Camp 3, because one of the issues I have, for me as someone who is a Black American descendant of American chattel slavery, is I will see people calling people racist. And my thing is, I do think that James Charles has said some problematic stuff, even though I do think that a lot of people, I don't necessarily condone the Ebola tweet that he made, but I do think that a lot of people, I feel, let the joke go over their head. And B, I also feel like for the amount of time that James has been famous and for all the things that he's been in controversy for, I think that racism would be the least of his issues. And I talk in another video about quote unquote real racism, and I think that racism has there can be a spectrum of racism. Not all racist things have to be somebody calling somebody the N-word and, beating them or, anything of that sort. But the issue I have here is basically this person who clearly has a dislike for James. They say, just admit that you don't like black or POC artists getting more attention than you. And it's like, what are y'all even talking about? And this is no shade to Alicia Keys. Like I said, I have the utmost respect for Alicia Keys as someone who has paved the way for people like me who love R&B music and want to get into R&B music one day. So my thing is, I have the utmost respect for Alicia Keys. But my thing is, people are saying, just admit that you don't like, and it's like, no shade, but I did not even hear of Alicia Keys' makeup line. Like, let me even go in the shade room right now and let me look and see if if it hit the shade room. Because I found out from my sister that what's her name? That Keke Palmer is going to be in the Proud Family. That's something that hit the news, that hit black social media. But I'm even looking on the shade room and they haven't even posted about Alicia Keys' new line. So it's like, what's Alicia Keys getting with? You're saying that it's like this idea of just say that you hate POC, just say that you can't stand that black artists are getting more attention than you. And this wasn't even about race. I'm sure that James would have said the same thing if it was somebody else who released a makeup line. Now, I will say, I do think that we have to call out the BS. We have to call the BS out. We have to hold people accountable. I do think that it is a little shady of James to sit here and be pressed about Alicia Keys in this makeup line. I think it's probably because it's a celebrity. I think that's the thing about it. Let me reread his tweet though, because he was saying people, but he said in his tweet people. But I guess my thing is, I do think that James is low-key being hypocritical as well, because I feel like, has advertised the D'Amelio sisters, Dixie and Charlie D'Amelio. They launched Morphe 2, which is a collaboration with Morphe, and they have not been people who have built themselves as influencers within the beauty community space. So I do think that it comes off as a little hypocritical, because I feel like if he has such an issue with makeup brands by people who don't truly care about makeup, then maybe he shouldn't be involved with Morphe 2 or promoting Morphe 2. But I also feel like that's a collaboration. A collaboration is different than a brand. And a collaboration, I feel like it's more of like an aesthetic, and like what a lot of people will say is, for a collaboration, let's say Jaclyn Hill does a collaboration, like let's say her Champagne Pop collaboration, which was a collaboration with Becca. The collaboration's not really a brand or a line. It's usually either a brush set, a product, a product and a brush set that's kind of geared towards that person's brand. So for example, Jackie Aina, in her palette, she used certain shades in like a color story that she personally would use and that she's used on her channel and she's built her brand upon. So I guess for me overall, the issue I have with this tweet is like pretty much like, it's this fake woke Twitter activism where because somebody doesn't like James Charles, we have to give him a problematic label. We have to use a label that will lessen his image, that'll make him look bad by calling him a racist. We don't necessarily need an expansive amount of evidence to prove that he's racist, but we can say that he's racist, and we can just say, like, just admit that you don't like POC, because it'll get, like, it's gotten 1,686 retweets, 181 comments, 12.1k likes. So I guess my issue with tweets like this are, yes, James Charles has said some problematic things in the past, but I feel like stuff like this gets on my nerves because James said nothing about Alicia Keys, her race, or, and I guess for me, the issue number one I have with this tweet is James said nothing about her race, so to kind of make it into him being racist and jealous of a POC, I think was dumb. And I also feel like just this idea of jealousy, I don't think it's impossible for people who are successful and doing well to be jealous. Like, anybody can be jealous, but I don't know, like, why would he be jealous of her? Like, if y'all watched the Tati video, you would know that, like, that James was already working on a makeup line with Morphe before all the drama happened. So my thing is, it's like, James has the money to do a brand, and James actually, when your brand matches your personal brand, That's when the money comes in, because people will buy from you because they trust you. No shade to Alicia Keys, but if she was releasing a makeup brand, people wouldn't trust her in the way that they would trust. Like, I think they will trust her with the skincare because that's been her brand for the last few years. But I guess my thing is this whole idea of jealousy. James is very successful at his age, so I don't think so. I feel like this idea, like, I feel like we need to stop pitting people against each other. James I do think the tweet was a little shady, but at the same time, I don't think that it meant any real harm. And to sit here and pull out every single one of Alicia Keys' accolades, I feel like kind of made me roll my eyes to the back of my head, because it's like, first and foremost, what does this have to do with anything? Just because she's won Grammys doesn't necessarily mean, like, she's established herself in the music space, as I've said. So I'm like, you pulling out these Grammys and saying, like, James Charles, as far as I know, hasn't even wanted to be a musician. He sings, but as far as I know, he mainly sings in acapella. He's not someone who's tried to pursue singing as a solo artist. And I mean, if he did, he probably could get lessons and, do all this other type of stuff, because to be real and to be frank, you don't really need that good of a singing voice to sell. But I guess my thing is, it's just like this idea of, oh, just admit that you're jealous of POC artists, and it's just like, that had nothing to do with anything. But it doesn't matter, because people already have a bias against James Charles, and some of the people obviously don't like him for good reason. But in this case, it doesn't seem like this person's being honest. But like I said, it doesn't matter, because if someone tweets something about somebody you don't like, you can like and retweet it, and you don't have to necessarily evaluate if it's true. So this is problematic tweet of the day number 2. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. I personally feel like, obviously, Alicia Keys has been said to be doing a skincare line, so like I said, I think that's in line with her brand. But I think that there was a time period on Twitter where a lot of people thought she was releasing a makeup brand. And I think some people were literally only defending her because she's black and because, they liked her music and stuff. And I'm like, I can live for Alicia Keys' songs like, No One, Girl on Fire, You Don't Know My Name, Fallen, Unthinkable. And that doesn't mean I have to drink the Kool-Aid. I can think that she is a talented artist, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to agree or co-sign every business decision just because she's a black woman, just because she's somebody who's contributed to the R&B music space. And that's all I have to say. That's that on that. Let me know if y'all find any problematic tweets so that we can, continue this series. Have a good old time. Have a good kiki. But that's all I have to say for now. Thanks so much for watching. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and share, as that'll help me to get this video to more eyes and so we can grow. But if you're having a good time, and why wouldn't you be having a good time, you can look to your left and there's a video playlist of all of my video essay podcasts, so y'all can check those out if you are new. In the center is a button you can use to click to subscribe if you haven't had a chance to subscribe. I know, we get caught up in the video and stuff. Sometimes we forget. So if you want to subscribe, then click that button to subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified each time I upload a new video. And to your right, there's a playlist of all of my covers. So if you want to listen to me sing, listen to some of my covers and parodies, then definitely feel free to check those out. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. And if you want to support me, if you want to support the show, my Cash App is linked below. All donors will be featured in the credits of all of my videos. Thanks so much in advance if you choose to donate. Love you all. Bye-bye.